All right. Good evening and welcome to the Planning Commission meeting for the City of Moreno Valley. I now call this meeting to order October 22nd, 2022 at 6:02 p.m. Oh, my pen to work here. Can we have a roll call?
Commissioner Joanne Steffen,
Present.
Commissioner Omar Kobian,
Present.
Commissioner Jeff Sims,
Here.
Vice Chairperson Matthew Chen,
Here.
Chairperson Alvin Dijonay.
Here. Okay, so let's go with the Commissioner, let's see, Chen. Would you like to do the Pledge of Allegiance?
Please rise. Face the flag. Place your right hand over your heart.
Thank you. We're now going to move to the approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion and a second, please?
A motion.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Kobian and a second by Commissioner Steffen. Uh, t- 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 uh,
Can you please
Hmm?
Can you please repeat that?
We have a motion by Commissioner Kobian and a second from Commissioner Steffen.
I will note as they are preparing for the agenda, we are doing a little bit of training tonight as well. We do have two new staff with us this evening, and we'll talk a little more about that during our staff comments.
Can we have a vote?
Commissioner Joanne Steffen,
Yes.
Commissioner Omar Kobian,
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Sims,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Matthew Chen,
Yes.
Chairperson Alvin Dijonay.
Yes. I bet you got promoted there. Wow, that's pretty good. So the motion does carry. Before we hear public comments this evening, I ask and encourage everyone participating to keep their comments respectful towards each other and especially towards the individual speaking. I embrace and support the First Amendment right to free speech, including everyone's right to speak at the meeting and share his or her views on issues concerning our city. But can we can accomplish more in the city as private citizens by being civil and respectful towards each other in this meeting during the public comment period of each item, as well as during the public comment period for the items not on the agenda. Each member of the public who has signed up to speak will have a maximum of 3 minutes to speak. Any persons wishing to address the commission on any matter, either under the public comment section of the agenda or scheduled items in the public hearing, must fill out a request to speak form available. That's right back there by the door. The completed form must be submitted to the secretary prior to the agenda item being called by the chairperson. In speaking to the commissions, members of the public may be limited to 3 minutes per person, except for the applicant for entitlement. The commission may establish an overall time limit for comments on any particular item or agenda item. Members of the public must direct their questions to the chairperson of the commission and not to other members of the commission, the applicant, the staff, or the audience. All right, so we have the next item is the public comments, any item not on the agenda. Are there any speakers?
At this time, we have no public speakers.
All right, the next item on the agenda is the consent calendar. And it does not look like we have any items on the consent calendar at this time. All right, so the next item on the agenda is the approval of the non-public hearing items. And we don't have any items on that as well. All right, so Public hearing items. Next item is public hearing items. We have item number one. The applicant is requesting approval for the following entitlements: a plot plan PEN 21-0102 for automobile parking lot on a 9.14 acres in Moreno Valley Industrial Area Specific Plan, Clare Zone District Specific Plan 20. Staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sean Kelleher, Planning Official. This item before you tonight, we did receive a request from the applicant to continue the item to December 22nd, 2022. They are requesting additional time to meet with some of the commenters on the project that we've received thus far. Therefore, staff would recommend that the commission at this time continue the item to, again, December 22nd, 2022. Thank you.
Well, that works for me. Do we have to have a vote on that?
Yes, we will.
So I guess, can we have a vote on continuing item number one to the next, let's see, Planning Commission in December of 2022?
We will require a motion and a second.
Oh, motion.
I'll make a motion that we continue item number one, PEN 21-0100, Hecox Logistic Parking Lot to the meeting scheduled for December 22nd, 2022.
We have a second.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Sims and a second by Commissioner Cobian to continue item number one. Can we have a vote?
I don't think things working.
Sure. It looks like we have electronic vote here. Okay, the motion carries. Is there a staff wrap-up on that?
This item will be brought back before the Planning Commission at its December 22nd, 2022 meeting. Thank you.
Okay. So the next item on the agenda, item number two, the applicant is requesting approval of a plot plan and conditional use permit for the construction of a 4-story hotel with 93 suites in Moreno Valley Town Gate Specific Plan. Staff report.
Thank you, Chairman. The presentation tonight will be made by our new Assistant Planner, Aida Smith.
Good evening, Planning Commissioners. My name is Aida Smith, and I am the assigned Assistant Planner for this project. The items before you include 2 applications, a plot plan, and a conditional use permit for the development of the Town Place Suites Hotel. The approximately 1.75 acre project is located within the Town Gate Shopping Center, north of Eucalyptus Avenue, east of Day Street, of the Day Street intersection. The surrounding land uses include hotels, commercial shopping centers, single-family residences, and a Moreno Valley fire station located to the east project. The Town Place Suites project proposes to develop a new 4-story 93-suite hotel in the Town Gate Shopping Center with amenities that include kitchenettes, a lounge, an outdoor deck, a fitness center, and a small area in the lobby, a small lounge area in the lobby. The design of the hotel includes four-sided architecture. The elevations contain color palettes that predominantly include earth tones, as you can see, with a complementary mix of materials, including stucco, stone, cement board, siding, and glass. The project has been evaluated against the criteria outlined in the California Environmental Qualities Act guidelines, and it was determined that the project will not have a significant impact on the environment. The project is as designed and condition complies with the standards of the Town Gate specific plan and the city's municipal code. Therefore, the staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve Resolution 2022-40. This concludes the staff presentation for this project, and the staff and the applicants are available here for if you have any questions for us.
Thank you. Are there any commissioner questions for staff?
Thank you. With the fire department being right next door, will this hinder any of their operations during development, or is there always going to be an opportunity for them to still come out and make a right and go on that road?
So for that, with regard to that question, it does not have any impact on any operations of our existing facilities. That's something very important to the city, to not hinder our own operations with an application.
Thank you.
Any other commissioner questions?
I don't have a question. I appreciate on the staff report and the going through the analysis on the exemption. I think that's important to put in the staff report.
Question. The parking spaces allocated for this project are, I mean, I'm assuming they meet city standards, and if so, is there any extra spaces besides the city's requirement for amount of parking spaces for, was it 96 suites
So
before?
the parking as designed the parking as laid out does meet the city's requirements as conditioned. They are at their required standard based off of their proposal. Actually, in the way that the project is designed, they're actually sharing 12 parking stalls with the adjacent, I believe it's Fairfield Inn, which is located directly north of them. There is also a reciprocal access agreement for the overall shopping center that they are a part of, which includes Winco and a number of other tenants as well. So there is adequate parking on site as it is designed when you look at the center as a whole.
No.
I did have a couple of other questions. Were on the notifications, was there any comments or questions or concerns raised by any citizens regarding the project?
Thank you. Yes, we did not receive any comments in relationship to this project.
Okay, and then just from a curiosity, just from a city revenue standpoint, I understand that hotels and these type of facilities have some kind of a transient occupancy tax that creates a revenue over and above what normal property tax would do. Is there? I don't need to know the details specific, or if there's anything specific such that would be public, that would be consistent for all, but is that something that can be shared, how that works?
I can't get into the details on exactly how that works. I would have to go back and look at the transit-oriented tax specifically, but what I will note is that there is a benefit to the city of Moreno Valley for each hotel room that we have. We do receive a benefit financially through that tax.
Who could provide more? Is that economic development, or is that something that could be reported back just as an educational thing of what that kind of? I mean, I think from a planning, I guess it probably doesn't. I guess we're just here to
We
talk about
actually,
the zoning. So I guess
we actually
out
have
of
to,
line.
when it comes to those types of things, revenues and those things, we have to ultimately be neutral on that item, on that matter.
Is it are the transient occupancy tax, are they case by case, or is it just a set? Is it like a development agreement that's done by?
It's a set rate for the entire city.
Thank you.
One more thing. Is there a way we can show the plan again? I mean, because I mean, as planning commission, we want to make sure we're providing adequate landscaping. Here, I can't really see. I mean, is there any big trees coming in? Anything that we're going to add to the community in that area? Is it going to be up against that street? I mean, I'm just curious to know. Aesthetically, I see the plot plan, but I don't see a landscaping plan. I'm sure there is one, but just curious to see what the city of Moreno Valley is going to approve.
I did add
Beautify
a,
that area because they could use it. a
We,
little bit.
we did not show it as part of the PowerPoint, but we do have it on, Ada is going to
additional
that slide now.
slide.
Okay.
So the landscaping plan would come in, this is Julia Dakota, senior planner. The landscaping plan would come in after the entitlement. It is conditioned to meet the code, the municipal code and the specific plan, landscape requirements. It will require street trees and on-site landscaping, drought tolerant.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I could see where the grass is going to be in, where the tree. That looks good. Pretty good. Good. Thank you.
Any other commissioner questions for staff? Okay, would the applicant like to come up and speak at this time?
Good evening, Commissioners. So I just wanted to thank everyone for their support. I know Sean and his team has worked very hard to get this project to where it is today. The ownership group of this hotel actually owns that Fairfield, so it will be just a continuation of our project and commitment to the city. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask.
Any commissioner questions for the applicant? Wow, okay. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, well, at this time, we now open the public testimony. The clerk will call upon each person who has requested to speak. Each member of the public wishing to speak will have a maximum of 3 minutes to speak on the agenda item. Do we have any public comment?
At this time, we have no public speakers.
Okay. Well, there's no public speakers, so at this time, I'd like to close the public testimony section here and move into deliberations.
I'll go first. I actually went out there, and I've been out there because my aunt and uncle have come to visit me, and they've stayed at the Hilton there. And so there's other hotels there in the area, so it's compatible. It fits well. And like they said, it's just an extension of one of the other facilities. So I don't see any problem with it. I think it'll be an asset too.
All right, so I think just an extension of the project that's already there makes sense. It's going to generate revenue. We have the Olympics coming. Hopefully, we get something here at Lake Paris, and we're going to need opportunities for people to stay in the local area, and that's just going to be more revenue driven into our economy. So I applaud the applicant for extending it and bringing another quality project to the area, and I think it's a brainer.
I agree with Joanne and Matthew. It will actually fill in that empty spot. I actually work near that location. I use a quick quack car wash quite a bit. And so I cut through and I see that plot plan. And I see that lot empty all the time, and I think it's the missing piece for that area. I think it's gonna look great. So I'm glad to see something there.
Oh, it's good. Okay. Same thing. I concur. It's great. We just have to give the people that come in there and patronize the place directions to the mall. All right. So I guess we're looking for a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion that the Plan Commission adopt resolution number 2022-40.
Second.
All right. That is a motion by Commissioner Sims and a second by Commissioner Chin. All right, the motion carries 5-0. Is there a staff wrap-up?
The action taken by the Planning Commission this evening is an appealable action. Any interested party that would like to file an appeal may do so within 10 days of this action. If an appeal is filed, it must be in writing and directed to the Community Development Director, stating the specific reasons for the appeal, along with the appeal filing fee. If any appeal is received, it will be agendized for a public hearing before the City Council. Thank you.
All right, we're going to move into item number 3. However, I believe Commissioner Chin.
I've been waiting for a sign. Chairperson, I am going to recuse myself from this item, being that I live within 1,000 feet of the project. So at this time, I am going to leave the dais and gone for the night. All right?
This is exciting. We could have a deadlock.
Yes, yes. All right.
All right, okay.
With your permission. of course.
Absolutely, okay.
Thank you.
Go with, not going to go to the audience? Or it's gone for the night? Okay, all right. Wow. Now I know how to do it. All right, so we're going to move into item number 3. In item number 3, the applicant is requesting approval for a conditional use permit for the construction of a new wireless cell site facility, including a 65-foot tall, a monopine tower with ground-mounted equipment screened by a 10-foot tall block wall with a 30-foot by 30-foot equipment leased area within a residential 5 district. Is there a staff report?
Thank you, Chairman. The presentation will be made again by Assistant Planner Aida Smith.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Aida Smith, and I am the Assistant Planner assigned to this project. The item before you is a conditional use permit for the development of a new AT&T wireless facility. The proposed project site is located on Paris Boulevard at the northwest corner of Ironwood and Tuscola Street. The wireless cell site facility will be located on the existing church grounds of Movement Church, which is within the R5 residential district. The project site is developed within an existing church. The properties north, east, and west are developed with single-family residences within residential districts. The proposed project will include a 65-foot tall monopine designed with all the appropriate equipment. The monopine and ground-mounted equipment will be located within the 30 by 30 lease area. A 10-foot tall concrete split-face block wall will be constructed around the perimeter of the lease area and will screen the ground-mounted equipment from public view. The location of the wireless cell facility is categorically exempt from the provisions of the California Environmental Quality Act as a Class 3 exemption. The proposed project is consistent with the city's general plan and the municipal code requirements for communication facilities and is compatible with the surrounding public and residential uses. Therefore, staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve Resolution Number 2022-39, approving the project. This concludes the staff presentation, and the applicant is available here for any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any commissioner questions for staff?
I see on some of the paperwork you sent us, can you show a visual, an actual visual? I know there's some renderings of it. Can we display that?
Sure.
There's one in color, like an actual, I don't know if it's in the,
That is not a part of the presentation, but we do have the plans here with
Okay.
us.
I seen a visual of it and I thought it'd be good for all of us to see it
Okay.
together, but it's fine.
When you, they're not popping up on the computer here. Well, good for you. I had to print mine out because the city doesn't give them to them.
Not even the plans you showed right now.
We're going to have Ashley Aparicio see if she can troubleshoot that real quickly.
Staff report. I have printed the
Yeah.
old school way. If you want to look at I printed them.
Thank you, Jeff. I did that.
Okay. Any questions from commissioners to staff?
I guess it's just, does the church own the whole property? It's kind of an irregular, the
The-
church is kind of up front, then the parking lot kind of has this, goes off into the
Yes,
back end there.
yes, the church does own the entire parcel of land. In this case, if we can go back to that slide, please, Aid.
Does it own all the way over to Kitching?
They do all own all the way over.
The whole
to-
square?
Yes,
Okay.
they own that whole
Yeah.
square.
All right.
I actually went to that church for a long time, and what it is you see all the parking, and then there's just a empty space, totally empty space in the back side of it. So it'll just be there all by itself. The rest of the church is all in the front. It doesn't really affect anything to do with the church. The aesthetics of it, I don't know. Is it similar to the ones that you see like when you're going up to Big Bear? You'll see those towers and they look kind of make it look like it's a tree.
So this is, so the name behind this tower is a monopine.
Oh,
So
so
the
it's gonna look
intent
like a
is,
pine.
so the intent is for it to look like a pine tree.
Mhm.
The plan, the elevation drawing that you have before you this evening is a schematic rendering of what the tower would look like as conditioned and ultimately as monitored in the field during construction. Staff will actually work with the contractor to ensure that there are a variation in the branches in terms of their overall length. Also, staff has conditioned the project to include what we call our antenna socks, which ultimately go over the top of the antenna to look like leaves, or in this case, needles, to look like the pine tree as well. And there's a number of other aesthetic items that we've applied through conditions of approval on this project. I know this is fairly, since I've been here, I'm almost to 4 years, actually. I don't think the commission has ever actually had a wireless facility come before them during this time.
Oh.
And the reason behind that is our municipal code actually vests wireless telecommunication facilities in residential zones, which this property is in a residential zone, with the planning commission. All other zones, industrial, open space, commercial, are actually at the discretion of the community development director. So that's why this item is coming before you this evening and why you haven't seen one in at least 4 years. It is for that purpose, because this is in a residential zone.
It actually looks very nice because the ones I do have seen, like I said, going up to Big Bird, they're not as nice. This one looks actually very nice.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to display it, because I've never seen one like this, and I'm pretty observant. So, the second question is, I mean, that rendering right there, that's what it's going to look like. I've never seen one like that, ever, that wide.
That is actually a wider one than most.
Yeah.
The city has seen and processed some similar to that for commercial and open space type properties. So it's ultimately the standard we're really pushing applicants to if they go with the pine design.
Next question I have is, how do we get T-Mobile to put one by my house? Because my service sucks.
Unfortunately,
Oh.
I don't have anything.
Okay. Any other commissioner questions for staff? Right, besides, yeah. No questions? All right, at this time, would the applicant like to speak?
So Commission, I have no questions. I'm here to answer questions. I've reviewed the draft conditions that we received from planning, and we are fine with the conditions that have been offered.
Okay. Questions? for
Are you with the church or ATT?
I'm with AT&T.
Okay, thank you. And your name?
How soon will this be? Oh, go ahead.
Well, I don't believe you gave your name for the record.
Oh, my name is Jermaine Taylor.
Thank you.
How soon will this be going up?
The sooner you guys grant us the approval and we're able to get the building
The
permits,
trucks are
but
taxing
I would
as we
say,
speak.
anywhere from 4 to 6 months, because we're going to have to order the tower based on the conditions that we received from the planning. There's special socks and things like that that has to be incorporated into the structural. So I would say anywhere from 4 to 6 months.
Any other questions for commissioners?
I'm assuming the contractors you guys use for this do this on a regular basis. The footings for this such a high tower, they're all spec'd out
Correct.
prior in advance, and I'm sure the city's going to check all that out too. This is not I mean, this is something they do on a regular basis. This style, I've never seen one. That's why I'm still kind of trying to wrap my head around it. It looks great though.
Yeah, thank you. Well, like he said, based on the codes, you guys really don't see these much, but there's different types of styles: mono pines, mono eucalyptus, mono oak trees. There's different types of styles, but this particular style fit better for the area and the existing landscaping.
Any other questions for the applicant? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. At this time, we'll now open the public testimony portion. The clerk will call upon each person who has requested to speak. Each member of the public wishing to speak will have a maximum of 3 minutes to speak on the agenda item. Do we have any public comments?
At this time, we have no public speakers.
I know this is very irregular for me to come up here when I don't have a permit to speak. I do want to say something
Hang on
though.
just 1 second. ma'am.
So in order for us to do this, we will need a speaker slip completed. We can pause for just a moment and have
Yeah, certainly.
I was going to say I did show
Individual.
up at 5:35 and I spoke with Sean and I didn't know how
Yeah,
to.
there's
I
a
didn't know to
slip
fill
right
out
there in the
what-
back and just put your name on there.
Yep.
Is that the number?
Okay. Well, let me ask that question again. Do we have any public comments?
Yes, we have Nancy Bartlett.
Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Nancy Bartlett. I'm not familiar with the Planning Commission. It's the first time I've been here, so please feel free to offer me guidance as I stumble around here. So I live within the area and received a flyer yesterday. A neighbor of mine did receive one day before yesterday. I did see it, and I did call the number on here to see if I could come, see if I could find out some information. The person who answered the phone said they would have Aida call me, but I didn't get a call back from Aida. I'm not faulting you. I'm just saying I'm here spontaneously. I was out of town all day and I didn't get back until 5:33. So I didn't get a packet. Sean gave me this little packet and I figured I would have something to say, but I didn't know that there was a formal request. So that's why I'm asking for this little variance that you let me speak. I do think it would be nice on something that's sent out like this, if there was a website that somebody could look up this information. And there's no website listed on here. I pointed that out to Sean. He seemed to not know about that because he said I should look up at the website on the flyer. It wasn't here. And when I spoke with the person yesterday on the phone, I asked if there was another way I could get the information rather than coming down to the office. And they said they would have Aida call me. So I'm just saying I'm here kind of as a blank slate and I'm responding, as you see me. But I do, I would have taken more time to find out more information, but something as a resident that does pique my interest is on, let's see, section 9.02.060. And it's several pages back. It's in the resolution section of the handout. Like I say, I feel a little bit late on this, but I do want to, flag my right to say that I do understand that in your pamphlet, it says conditional use permit is to allow the establishment of uses that may have special impacts or uniqueness such that their effect on the surrounding environment cannot be determined in advance of the use of being proposed of a particular location, and that the condition or conditional use permit application, blah, blah, blah. I haven't had time to look this up. I would have looked it up if, you can't control the mail, okay? But if the department could have let me know that there was a website, I could have looked this up and I would have had some time during the day to look up the information. If I don't say anything about it, it looks like I'm accepting whatever this is.
I don't know. Ma'am, you're over the 3-minute allotment time to speak, but I didn't understand if you had a particular concern.
Yeah, I'm concerned that I don't know what that means for me as a resident. And I would have probably been able to look that up if I would have had a website to look it up on.
I see. So nothing particularly about the project.
Yeah, about it doesn't really, you don't really know the it's stated here that the environmental effects are cannot really be known for the
I
area.
see. Well,
And I think for people should be able to look up. I would like to be able to look up. I don't know who says that.
Okay.
Somebody says that. It may be absolutely true. I may be able to do more research and find out that there's some other information I don't necessarily agree with for that.
Ma'am,
in
I hate to
my
cut you
area.
off there. We do allot people 3 minutes in time to speak.
You asked me the question, I was answering.
Yes, ma'am,
you.
I understand. I would imagine that you would easily be able to speak to one of the members of the staff, and they can direct you. to information that you can get, or to the applicant that happens to be here today. But
Chair, I will be able to respond to that if you'd like this evening. Section 9.02.060, that specifically is our requirement directly out of our municipal code. And it is with, it relates directly to the fact that the findings for a conditional use permit, or it's a portion of the conditional use permit section where we are identifying that there are uses that we make subject to a CUP because of the fact that they may have a special impact. That is why this statement is acknowledging that the CUP is required for this project, because there is an anticipated special impact that may occur. That's why within our wireless telecommunications ordinance section, there are specific setback requirements, there are aesthetic requirements, and those types of things for which this project has been conditioned. Thus the name conditional use permit. They need to apply. There are certain conditions applied for them to be able to retain the use and retain it as a permitted use.
I see. And I can understand where she's saying. She's saying, if I see that, where can I get that information from?
Oh, I can be pretty creative. I'm sure I can look it up, but I just did not have the information available to me. There is one other thing. This,
No. Yeah,
it will be brief. Hey, I'm the
Yeah,
only
we're-
speaker, please.
I actually don't create the rules, and I would just have to abide by them, and I'd like to thank you for your time.
I have one more thing I'd like to say. If I could ask everyone's permission, I'll be 10 seconds.
Thank you, ma'am, for your time. We appreciate it. Are there any other speakers?
No, sir.
All right, if there are no other speakers at this time, I'd like to close the public testimony portion of this. And would the applicant like to provide any additional information? All right, if there are no other speakers and the applicant doesn't want to provide any other information, let's move into deliberations.
Well, I'm no longer an ATT customer, so it's I'm happy for the ATT customers to be improved. I guess my understanding of the cell site, these cell towers and whatnot seem to always 20 years ago. I can remember in my prior life we were working for the water district. We had our tanks were always at the top of the hills, and so those always seemed to be a really good spot to put cell towers. And so that was quite contentious early on, because there was a new technology and undetermined, what's going to happen if I have a cell tower anyhow. So I think that's been fully vetted over the years of cell phone use, and I think based on the effort that the staff has put in the location where this is at, away from the housing properties or the existing housing, and the aesthetics that they've put the effort into doing, I don't see this being an issue. It's a service for the community to have better cell service, emergency services, and so forth.
Yeah, I too, like I said, I'm very familiar with that church. And if anything, it'll be a lot closer to the church. And they also run a daycare there for the kids. And I think if they thought there'd be any kind of detrimental thing for them, I think it's just, like you said, it's something that is going to, benefit the residents or anybody that has AT&T, because it's like when I moved to Moreno Valley almost 39 years ago, we didn't have hardly any cable. We had just one. And then later they brought in all the big cables. They brought in all for Verizon, and they had to do all that. And they have to do these things to keep up with the times. And I think it's where it should be. And it's, I don't really think it's going to be a detriment to the residents like I said, the church is a lot closer than the housing track is, actually. So I don't really see a problem with it. I'm sure there was, they wouldn't be going there. I could see her concern though. I could see that, because it's new. People don't really know about it. And I would, but I can see it.
Yeah.
I too can see a little bit of Nancy's frustration. I get it. She just got a postcard a day ago. And she felt like she didn't have at least a link or figure out if somebody's never navigated through the city website and go to planning commission, go to agenda. Was there any postcard sent out prior, like 30 days ago, or?
So we followed our
residents?
we followed our regular project, requirements that we do. We posted the site 10 days prior. We sent out a postcard to all neighbors all property owners within 600 feet of the project site.
How far ahead? I mean, what's
Send it all.
the minimum?
It's all
10 days?
It's all 10 days in
10.
advance. It all goes. Yeah, or actually, in terms of the postcards, it's actually 11 days in advance because we don't do mail on Fridays here at City Hall. So
Okay.
it was actually 11 days in advance.
All right.
And then the newspaper notice ran in the newspaper 10 days prior to this hearing as well.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
For everybody that is interested in what goes on the planning commission and city council and all the various boards and whatnot, the city website there's a specific tab on there for meetings and agendas and whatnot. And it's very easy to navigate.
Well, again, I kind of concur here. I see that I've never seen one of these. They all look like the pine trees, and you could tell right off the back. Oh, well, yeah, look, really fake. Like, wow, what is that thing? And it took me a little while to realize it's not just a little gray stick anymore that used to sit up by the water towers and on the sides of telephone poles. So I think it looks great. Hats off to the church for letting that come into their property and getting that done. And I definitely understand Nancy's concern. Being new to it, it could be overwhelming. And hey, here's this notification. The big poster comes up. What do I do? I need to know some information, and maybe add the link.
We'll go back and look at that and see why it fell off of this one because I was surprised to not see it on there.
Okay, all right. Well, if we are not deliberating any further,
I'd like to make a motion that the planning commission adopt resolution number 2022-39.
I'll second.
a motion by Commissioner Sims and a second by Commissioner Steph. All right, the motion carries 4-0. Is there a staff wrap-up?
The action taken by the Planning Commission this evening is an appealable action. Any interested party that would like to file an appeal may do so within 10 days of this action. If an appeal is filed, it must be in writing and directed to the Community Development Director stating the specific reasons for the appeal, along with the appeal filing fee. If an appeal is received, it will be agendized for a public hearing before the City Council. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving along, the next item on the agenda is other commissioner business. And let's see, at this time, let's call for it. So that you guys understand, I want to say the next special meeting for November 17th, because I think the regular schedule that comes up, it falls on Thanksgiving, right? All right, so we want to call for a special meeting for November 17th at 6 p.m. Additionally, we'll be calling for a cancellation of the November 24th meeting due to the Thanksgiving holiday. Gosh, I knew that just before. Right. Okay. Do we have to vote for that, or is that just how that is?
As chair, you can make those announcements.
All right, so that's going to happen. All right. right. So know that we will be meeting on November 17th in lieu of the Thanksgiving holiday on November 24th.
I would advise that I will not be in attendance
On the 17th?
on the 17th.
Thanks. All right. Staff comments. All right. The next item on the agenda is staff comments. Do we have any staff comments at this time?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I have a couple of just announcements, introductions this evening. First, actually, I will start up by thanking Ashley for joining us once again. She thought she got away to finance, but she has not. With her, she is training our new senior administrative assistant, Miss Rachel Ramirez, who you've already seen some emails from. Some of you may have even talked to her already by now, but she has been with us coming up here very soon. It's been a month that she's been with us, just about, and she has been just a great addition to the city staff. Another individual that you have not seen before is Miss Aida Smith. She is an assistant planner with the city. She came on about 3.5, 4 months ago. And she again is doing a great job. As you saw, she had 2 items tonight. From my understanding, this is actually her first ever planning commission meeting. So same thing with Rachel actually as well. First ever planning commission meetings ever. They both came from different positions in different industries. Well, one came from a different industry where they did not participate in these types of things prior. So
You guys both did great. So
Great job.
Thank you.
And then I think you've met Colin. Colin is one of our interim assistant city attorneys. About 2 months ago, Steve Quintanilla said, "You know what, guys, I need to help on some other things, and you know what, Colin's my best guy, and you know I'm going to give him to planning." And his number's number one is number one right behind Manny on my list. So I think that's yep. You know everybody else behind me. So that concludes my comments. Anything?
No, pleasure to officially meet you if I haven't met you before. Happy to answer any questions you guys might have. I can pass around my email if you want it or cell phone. But otherwise, pleasure and look forward to getting to handle the meetings.
Any other staff comments?
No other comments. Thank you.
All right. Next item will be commissioner comments.
Well, I will not be here, so happy Thanksgiving, and hope you enjoy your holidays with family and friends.
Thank you. I'd like to say welcome aboard, everyone. It's nice. We can sometimes tell the new folks when they're sitting out there. No, really. Thank you guys for coming and bear with us because normally we're a little more efficient and smoother going down the line. So hopefully she'll be trained up and move everything right along. And well, they gave them both to you, huh? So you did a great job.
Thank you. Very nice to meet you.
Well, then at this time, I'd like to adjourn the Planning Commission of City Moreno Valley at 6:56 p.m. Oh, my favorite part. Adjourn to the November 10th.
17th, right?
No. We're going to have a 10th and a 17th.
Correct.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Right.
I take my happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Chairman.
Can we combine them?